I decided to go and just talk to EmanG and see what he says. My intention was to just give EmanG an ability to make a statement and let you decide if you like to still support him or not. Most people that do want to invest in 3D printing in general will not touch the original company that the original products are coming from with a 10-foot pole.
When the claimant issued the demand that I cease operations, that was across the board. Everything was taken down on the same day, January 24th, 2024.
GW don't even have the freaking Emperor of Mankind. Hi my golden Astartes, with me the 40k Empress. We are gathered here today to discuss Games Workshop versus EmanG. So guys, I did a stream with my friend Kit. The first topic was about this case, and back then we knew very little of what was happening behind the scenes. After that, guys, I have talked to Asmogan, which I'm very grateful for. He explained to me his position on this case. He made a video about it, of course. Other creators did as well. So things really didn't look all that bright for EmanG and his claims, basically, because a lot of people were convinced that he is not exactly on the right side. So there is a few things to consider here, guys. First, we have, of course, GW as a company, and they have rights. You know, they want to exercise those rights to actually pursue people that they think that they're infringing on their copyrights. If some of you is a copyright lawyer, you know, you can let me know, but most of us are not particularly copyright lawyers. So all of a sudden it looked like EmanG basically is not that innocent. I saw the models that EmanG actually recreated, so to speak, of GW's different characters, some of them from Total War Warhammer 3. There are some pictures on Instagram in which he confirmed that these particular characters are from that game. So basically the models that he recreated in those 3D printing files are extremely close to the original files of GW. A lot of 3D artists are trying to do creations that resemble the original work to a point, but they are basically built from the ground up, and in that way they are protecting themselves a lot more against copyright claims. So basically it does seem that EmanG took more than an inspiration and created very close copies of some of GW's own characters. Now we have to look at things from a few angles here, because it is very easy to jump to a lot of conclusions. And that is what I personally dislike about human bias, about the way that we are used to attack people. And there is some truth to each and every reaction, and there could be truth to people's reactions in a lot of ways when it comes to just about anything in the world that we have to have an opinion about, of course. And because this is about financial support, it is even more important and sensitive in the times where people just want to very carefully save their money and not just give them away, especially to someone that they don't know. So we all have to think about those things and be responsible with our money, but we also have to try to see things in many other perspectives, so maybe we can make an objective assessment, at least to some point. So where am I getting at? Basically, guys, I have tried personally to take a look at all the aspects of this. I have read some of the court documents. They are basically a labyrinth, and if you don't understand all of that there is to be showcased in this labyrinth, you could be lost. It's legal language. You have to be really a lawyer about the copyright things for the most part to really understand things, because of course there's a lot of dancing around some words, there's a lot of convincing from one and from the other side about things. So in all objectivity, if you're not a lawyer, you can't absolutely know every word of this and perfectly be able to comment on that extremely professionally and accurately. Most of us cannot do that. So I want to reach some kind of a bottom line when it comes to this case. So here is how I decided to do things. I decided to go and just talk to EmanG and see what he says. So he made a statement, and this statement is based on what his legal counsel is allowing him to say. So a lot of what EmanG said, actually everything that he said and how he presented things, everything, it is based on how he is advised to talk, how he is advised to express himself, what he can or cannot say. So he is not absolutely free to present the things in the ways that we like them to be presented. That is something that you have to have in mind, guys, because he cannot come here and just say, yeah, I totally copied stuff, or I totally didn't copy stuff. You know, that is something that is between him and GW and how this case is going to go. So as far as I understood from one of his Patreons who talked with Asmagan on his live stream, EmanG does need those money that he is trying to gather with the support of the people. He does need this amount of money. That's actually maybe even the minimum that he will need to get out of this. I mean, at least for him to pay everything needed and be free of this debt. So have this in mind. The money still stands. Now, if he did word things in a particular way that didn't seem genuine or absolutely true to this case, that is once again due to what he is bound to say or what he is bound to not say. I cannot speak on his behalf at all. This is what I summarized from my talk with him and his statement that I'm about to present. You can still have, guys, your own opinions, and you can still present other evidence on the contrary if you like. I'm basically telling you what I have found and what conclusions I reached. So you're not obligated to subscribe to my line of thoughts, reasonings, and inner intuition about this, like at all. You are absolutely free to your own opinions. Absolutely, everyone are. I'm not forcing you to believe those things. So I just wanted, my intention was to just give EmanG an ability to make a statement and let you decide if you like to still support him or not. I think that that is fair. He does not like to engage in any internet drama. He is in this situation as deep as nobody wants to be in terms of his depth and the amount of time that this has been going on now in his life. So the last thing that he wants is to engage in any sorts of drama. When you're on the internet, I see that for years now, of course. When you try to say something, of course, we are all subjected to ridicule. We are all subjected to all kinds of criticism. Even if you say things that are common sense, it doesn't matter. For me, something is common sense, but in today's times, for someone else, it's totally not. So people go crazy. That's just a fact. So now let's hear his statement, guys.
First, and this was something I mentioned on side scrollers during my segment, I received a C&D in the mail in July before they escalated to the filing with the CCB. The filing with the CCB was given to me in person by a courier in October, but they'd filed it in September, as is noted in the CCB cases. Most companies of this size don't just immediately jump to legal proceedings. C&Ds are commonplace in the printing community, and I could probably ask 5 of the artists I know personally, and they'll all have gotten one from GW at some point, resulting in them taking things down. They usually do take their work down. See LogEK, Hellforged Miniatures, Mac Angry, Atlan Forge, Butov, etc., because they look at the potential monetary damages and see compliance as preferable to a long court case. I never stated that I adhered to their initial C&D. I have adhered to their demands during the CCB proceedings, as my attorney and the claimant's attorney have been negotiating. When the claimant issued the demand that I cease operations, that was across the board. Everything was taken down on the same day, January 24th, 2024. It was the day after I'd given everyone the closure message. I posted it directly to the Patreon, and it was mirrored to the Forge, the community server, as well. I have no idea where the confusion for this even came from. I announced it openly, and to this day, still receive messages and emails at random asking me where the files have gone, and the answer is always the same. The files you're asking for have been removed. They will not be returning. I cannot re-upload them. Apologies for the inconvenience. I have so many emails and PMs showing that. The Patreon was for support only. Every model was just the supported version of its free Cults 3D equivalent. I treated it as completely optional for that reason. I don't know why anyone is still confused. I haven't pretended otherwise. There were no Patreon-exclusive model sets that I released. There's more to it, and I never lied or obfuscated. I made it very clear there are things I can or cannot say from the advice of legal counsel. There's a lot more context to it that I will probably be able to speak on more if they finalize settling out of court, and I really hope they do. But I can't go on more shows and just say, "Nuh-uh," due to being legally bound. I don't want to go down the same route of issues similar to Eric July during his court case, where the majority said, just keep quiet, while his dispute was ongoing. That's all I have to say, for now.
Guys, for me, the bottom line in this whole case is that, yeah, we do have a huge company versus one single person. That single person did copyright infringement to some extent. Well, I'm not a lawyer. It certainly seems so, but I am not a copyright lawyer. From what I understand as well, any company can try to sue someone even if they don't really have grounds, as long as they really want to go after someone. That is how I understand from everything that I watched, read, and all of that. Have that in mind. So we have David versus Goliath here. And in this kind of a situation, even if you think that David is not completely innocent, I don't think that what Goliath is doing is absolutely entirely justified. Because this is extremely severe, and the fact that EmanG could be in debt for so long is just extremely severe punishment. In most of such cases, guys, the company, especially when you have 3D files, the company will probably not lose any money. If they lose any money because someone decided to purchase these 3D files instead of just going directly buying out of them, that is extremely rare. Most people that do want to invest in 3D printing in general will not touch the original company that the original products are coming from with a 10-foot pole. You gotta have this in mind. It is a similar way with piracy. If you like to play a game but you don't want to give any money for that game, you will pirate the game and you will try it, and after you try it for a few hours you will delete it. Basically, the gaming company didn't lose anything from you because you are not their customer to begin with. A lot of people just download games, play them for just a little bit, decide that it's like, a test product basically. When a game doesn't have a demo or whatever, just a person who decided to do this. A lot of people just try games, delete them, so they pirate them for that reason. And a lot of people that really love the games and really love to support the companies, they will do that. They will go and buy the games that they want to buy and invest, give the game company their money, and so on. And it's similar with movies. A lot of people don't want to go to the movies, they just like to pirate the movies eventually. Sometimes they do it on purpose because they don't want to support the studios. There's different reasons. And when it comes to 3D printing, I want to say this, guys, as well. GW don't even have the freaking Emperor of Mankind. The freaking Emperor of their own universe, they don't have him. If I want to get a 3D statue of the Emperor, I actually can't do this. I tried, I can't find that. Major Kill did one that was amazing, but I missed that. Not that I could afford it, I can't get a file with the Emperor to print out. It seems that no one, except the artist that did the file for the Emperor, no one has such an accurate Emperor made. So in any case, I cannot find the Emperor. But if I was GW, I would totally create a statue to sell. That's gonna be amazing. Like a full statue, 30 centimeters, 60 centimeters, like different scales of the statue. What Major Kill actually did, he actually provided what people do want. If you're a real fan of Warhammer 40k and of the Emperor, the first thing on your mind is like, I actually want like a miniature, like an action figure, and a statue. That's very close to the mind. They don't have that. So in a lot of ways, 3D artists are trying to do something that GW have not yet done. And they're also trying to do products that GW does not have an exact equivalent of, whether that be in scale or something else. Of course, 3D artists do miniatures and people replace original miniatures with 3D printed miniatures. Of course, that is the case. But there's a lot of other like statues and products that GW just don't make, and you can make them if you have the 3D file or if you can purchase the ready 3D printed product. So there is that. So basically they cannot make money the same way that in this case EmanG can make money with the 3D products, because they don't themselves offer the exact equivalent of that. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. So for those products that they do have an exact equivalent of, that is, different for sure. That is more infringing than anything else. I will probably miss something, guys, to say, of course, about this, so I'm sure that you're going to correct me in the comments if I do, but to me most important is the bottom line. Really and truly, something has to change about the copyright laws and whether that really impacts a company or not, because we do have to have some kind of an objective measure of things. So companies does not have to go and sue one individual and to do this in such a severe manner. Now you can say that EmanG brought this on himself, of course. You may say that his legal team is prolonging the process or whatever. Those things are details that are just not the bottom line here. So of course, if you're a 3D artist, do protect yourself and try not to get this on your head. Of course, please do that, protect yourself, learn everything that there is to learn about those legal things, because the way that they stand right now, they're just not extremely fair and extremely perfect. They're just not. Games Workshop can act anti-consumer, as we all know as well. They can jack up the prices, as we all know, and they did. That is their right as the company. The fact that something is legal and that they can do it, like putting the price up, especially in this time that we all struggle, that doesn't mean that it's morally correct. Even when talking about what is legal and what is not, I'm thinking about, of course, Dr. Disrespect. The thing that he did was not illegal by today's legal standards, but it's certainly not very moral. To talk with someone who is not of age, then the conversation to go into inappropriate land. A grown man should not be interested in talking to such a young person. So basically, guys, the fact that something is legal or illegal doesn't make it right. That's the thing. We don't actually have laws for absolutely everything yet, and we do need more laws for some things in life. A lot of countries have different laws, some that are needed, some that are not yet created, but they are needed, and so on. So in this case, did EmanG, it did everything, absolutely everything perfectly? Did he actually protect himself? No, I don't think that he actually protect himself very well here at all. Does he want to totally get rid of this and be free? Yeah. By his words, yeah, he does want to get free of this and to not do such a thing ever again, for sure. That is also what he said on the podcast that he was a guest, and I totally understand that. Of course, you wouldn't want any of this on your head, like ever. Guys, both sides are not perfectly right here, okay? But if laws are changed and people are more free to create 3D products, given that they're not equivalent of other physical models of given company, that at least is going to be better. If GW don't have the Emperor, but if you create the Emperor and you can sell that, you're still selling a character, you can call him something else. There's a lot to think how things could be done so the company is not hurt by such products. There's a lot to say, a lot could be done, and think very thoroughly through so the company is not hurt, and then the creators can do good things for the community and not be also hurt by the company. That is something that we have to think about in time, and hopefully things could be more fair. So as it stands, if you like to support EmanG, you can always do that. I just don't think that how things stand right now are extremely fair for the people, for the creators. I don't think that position that the company can hold here is extremely powerful, and the little person that can't pay all of that could be extremely hurt, and this can totally ruin his life in some way or another. You can say that he can keep his home and his possessions, but he has to always give money to GW and whatever. You can say that he brought this on himself, but still, even though if that could be absolutely the case, then we go back to the company and the copyright laws and how things stand about what you can create or cannot create that have to be changed so that we all can get a fair separation between being creative and make even money from that and not hurting the companies, and let us enjoy what they are creating and expand upon it in some kind of a way in which they don't want to expand upon. So it is complicated because they can always decide to make a statue, of the emperor. You can say, well, if they do, just don't create the same statue, create a different statue of the emperor. And if the law allows that, maybe that could be some kind of a consensus between things. But, a true copyright lawyer has to come in and say, well, this can happen because this, or this cannot happen because this, and then what we can do to change, improve things for the people so that the companies will not act upon certain creations. I don't know what, but I do think that we are free to decide if we want to support EmanG, because if he wins, or at least if he can get something here that is a small win in this lawsuit, I don't know what that is, but if he can somehow at least come out of this not as hurt, maybe that's gonna help the community overall. I just think that it's better for him to win rather than GW to win, although it looks impossible for him to win. But just at least GW will see that if we support him, that shows that the community is strong and we can gather around someone and really help them out if we want to, because he is one man, we are so many, and the company, they have the money on their side, we don't have the money on our side, but we have the numbers, so with little money we can push and help push further and lift up the one person in need from our community and really help them out. Everyone can make a mistake, and if the community are just like, no, bro, you totally screwed us up, yeah, but we can still help him if we want to. I mean, nobody's obligated, absolutely nobody is obligated, but we can still help him, because a win for EmanG, or at least support for EmanG, will show GW that we are not so easily absolutely destroyed by them. At least that, guys, I mean, I don't want the fan community to have like a villainous opinion towards any company, but if this company really screws up, that is what happens. I wish that GW and other companies, they have more consumer friendly attitude, they care more about their core audience. That is how it should be, so we don't have this war mentality towards the company that is giving us one of the most amazing IPs ever. I do want things to be different. It's very annoying when these things happen, and things could be way better if only the companies are way better. So I don't want this to be a dynamic of the enemy and the small folk, David and Goliath, but this is how it is right now. So we don't need to be aggressive and attack or whatever a person of the community who did make a mistake, but he also made a mistake in an environment, laws and practices that are not perfect, flawless, or extremely fair. So that is it, guys. Make up your own mind, and I said what I could say. You can still argue in the comments. I cannot argue with every single person, okay? I'm just laying things as I see them, considering everything that I could have considered, and I do reach the conclusion that it's just better to help someone that is really struggling right now, even if they made a mistake, because still in the bigger picture, it's gonna be better for our community in general. Love it, guys. With me, the 40k Empress. Bye-bye.
The 40k Empress teaches fitness, health, nutrition, and helps with your intimate relationships. At OnlyFans. Yes, I know what you're thinking, but she doesn't use it for Slanesh things. Go there and let her help you with what you truly need. The link is down below in the description dimension.